Warwick SU's spring election campaigning is well underway. With cardboard plastered across campus, candidates embarking on grueling hall tours and pushing their message on social media, the battle to become next year's sabbatical officer team is heating up. To help you make an informed decision and get to know the candidates, we interviewed both of the students running for president. The following is our chat with Liam Jackson.
Across campus, online and on 12:51 AM. This is your student radio station.
So I'm now joined by Liam Jackson, who's running to be president of the SU this year. He's the current education officer at the Students' Union. Thank you for joining me for the interview, Liam.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all. I'm just going to start with some general questions before we move on to a couple more specific things and then a bit more fun towards the end. Firstly, what made you run for election in the first place?
This year.
This year, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good question. I think because I got a lot of stuff done so far, my 6 months as education officer, and I thought there's just so much more I want to do. I can see some, bigger issues outside education's sort of role, and I thought I can make a really good impact in there. And I have the experience and knowledge, I think, to actually, be a good president. You sort of touched upon it there, but what do you think you specifically bring to the role? Yeah, so I think, again, experience. My 6 months so far in the education officer role has shown me so much how important a strong student voice is and what it can achieve. So, for example, I've just run off some things that I did last year. I won replacement bus passes from Stagecoach, saving students hundreds of pounds. I made study space, a really high important sort of priority for the university. My big manifesto point, study space find app last year, is in the works, which is really exciting. So I want to see that go through, obviously. Yeah. Housing, all sorts, you can see in my manifesto, but yeah. So what are your key manifesto pledges then? If you had to summarise maybe your top 3 points. Top 3, okay, I have top 5, so I might cheat.
Top 5.
Can I cheat?
Go
okay, thank you. So these ones pulled out what I thought are really pertinent to, students' lives, basically. So the first one is increased study space. A simple one like that, because I think, now we've got the study space find app coming in place. That's great. However, we need to push for more learning grids off campus with expanded hours. We need to push for the library too. That's just essential, really, because there is a study space crisis and it's not good enough. My second point is to tackle dodgy landlords. I think everyone knows the issues there. If you live in Leamington or Coventry, students get a second-rate deal. And what a lot of other institutions do is they have like a rate my landlord tool. Yeah. I'd love to bring that into Warwick. So what it does is, it shames the bad landlords, but also raises standards, because everyone would want a good rating. Absolutely. So those are your top 3 points. That was 2. I've got more. Yeah. So also I want to make sports more accessible and affordable for all. Following on from Niall Johnson Society Officers' campaign on a multi-year socks fed, I'd love to bring in a multi-year sports fed as well, just to make it more simpler and easier for people. And also installing relaxation and sleeping facilities. I brought this to the ASM quite a few years ago now, and I think, part of the mental health crisis is sleep deprivation and the pressures on university on students, and I think finding some room for relaxation and sleeping facilities, I think will make a real big difference to people's well-being. Absolutely. So one of the big issues at the moment, and obviously we see it every single morning down by the bus stop, is the UCU strikes. Yep. I just wanted to know what your position on that is, and what would you say to the students that are maybe worried about their degree, especially those that are in sort of final year, with dissertations due, big deadlines due, and their exams short. What would you say to them, and do you support these strikes? Sure. Yeah, I absolutely support these strikes, because an attack on workers is an attack on students. We will not be able to hire and have the best academic quality at the Warwick if these pensions go ahead, these reforms, because it's not fair. I understand people's concerns and worries about this. However, this is why, as education officer, I'm pushing so much for mitigation in, how you're being examined and things like that. So, there is things in place, and I understand people's concerns. However, students must be in solidarity with their staff and their teachers.
Fantastic. So something that every year seems to be an issue is just the fact that the university expands in the number of people that it takes, but doesn't necessarily expand in other areas. And you mentioned the lack of study space already. I just wondered what your take was on that, obviously, and also the lack of on-campus accommodation. That's always an issue every year, and increasingly parking space on campus is an issue. And I just wondered what your takes on those were.
Yeah. So as I said before, like study space from my time as education officer and in my manifesto as president is huge, because I know firsthand, and I know it's a big issue for students. That's why, either university needs to stop bringing so many people or catch up fast. So what I started last year was having some little walks around with the university to just spot different parts around the university where they can increase existing space, where they can put just more desks around. So we've identified some places, so watch out for that, which would be quite exciting. But it's definitely pushing for the library too. It's definitely pushing for more learning grids off campus, because also with the issue with buses trying to get into campus is awful. So
no need to go in if you're already there.
Exactly. But what was your other question? Sorry.
Car
parking
spaces, yes.
So this is a contentious one, I know, I think it's an issue which is broader than just what students face. It's also an issue what staff face as well. Because if you look at the Faculty of Arts building, but the new one where they're proposing it is on Car Park 7, which is going to...
one of the most useful car parks on campus.
Exactly. So what we need to do is make sure that we lobby for more car parking spaces if we build these things. But also we need to push for greener and, more efficient transport as well. So that's why part of my manifesto is heavily about overcrowded buses. It's not a nice experience for students. We need to lobby for more buses and cheaper buses as well.
Fantastic. Just before then we move on to a couple more specific questions. What in your head would you say makes sort of the ideal SU president? What is the features of a good SU president?
I think it's someone who listens and is accountable. I think you need to be as outward facing as possible, but also champion students' rights. If it's whether it's the most marginalised on campus, but championing them and working with the university, but also challenging them when it needs to happen, because sometimes you just have to do that.
Fantastic. So now just a couple of things. I read your manifesto this morning when they all first came out.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed reading them all. It was really interesting to see them. So firstly, you mentioned in your manifesto about ensuring that societies have easier access to funds. I just sort of wanted to get you to expand on that just a little bit. What kind of funds do you want them to have available to them, and how do you want to make it easier for them to get to them?
Sure. So I'm not going to bore you with how the budgeting works in the SU, because I'll be here for hours.
It's a long process.
It is, and there's lots of opportunities for societies to bid for money for certain things, and they have obviously their own budget accounts as well. And it just seems to me that it is a bit of a disconnect about how how that's communicated and how it's this So what I would really like to do is have sort of drop-in sessions, termly, monthly, however long it's appropriate, for people to come along and say, okay, this amount of money is available. We'll help you with the bidding, all that sort of stuff. I think just, making it just easier for societies it's got to be something, we've got to prioritise.
Absolutely. And one of your other policies, and you mentioned it earlier, is sleeping pods. I do totally agree that obviously it's a very, very important issue in terms of mental health, people being able to, sleep when they really need to. I'm just wondering, sort of in terms of expense of the policy, it seems like it might be quite an expensive thing. And then if only sort of a couple get bought, I'm just wondering how you would manage accessibility to these.
Yeah, so I've done quite a bit of research on this and how other institutions do it. Some are by the SU, some are by the university. I want university to pay for this because they've got lots of money. And that's their job. They're the ones who are putting pressure on our students. And
so you'd like to see the SU in a lobbying role?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've already had talks with a lot of people in the university. They seem keen. I just need to actually get to it. And managing it, there's lots of ways of doing it, online booking systems or, security actual being there, being present, all sorts. So we need to work them things out. And, I'm happy to talk to students who are concerned with security issues and so forth to see what's actually the best deal for Warwick.
Yeah. Just for those that haven't necessarily watched films that have sleeping pods in them, on Google have them, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Google.
Yeah.
What actually is a sleeping pod for those that don't necessarily?
So there's actually I've kept it vague on purpose about facilities, because there's two different types. There's sleeping pods or sleeping rooms as well.
Right.
So a sleeping pod is literally, it does what it says on the tin. You have a sort of a chair which is leaning back, and it has this like really cool like sci-fi visor over the top, and you can sit in there and just have a bit of relaxation across, out of the real world for a bit. Maybe some music in there potentially, blindfold, just so you can get some. That's fine. Get some like well deserved shut eye really, and some relaxation. And also places like UEA do like an actual room, so it'll be just darkened with bean bags, blindfolds and things like that. And I think it's really cool, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing what we can do here at Warwick.
Fantastic. So I just thought I'd ask you 5 fun questions.
Go on then.
Which just to let students get to know you, like what type of person you are.
Oh God.
Okay, first of all, what's your favourite takeaway? What's your takeaway of choice?
Indian.
Oh, that was a quick answer.
Aloo gobi.
Sorry?
Aloo gobi, every time.
That is.
It's like potato stuff.
Okay.
It's good.
I'm not very well versed in curries. And
also the spicier the better, so usually with like madras sauce as well, it'd be nice. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Favourite film?
Favourite film? Now this is a hard one.
Yeah. Is it always a tough question?
It is on the spot. I'm going to say... Ooh...
Really thinking that?
Yeah, I am. I'm more of like a TV show man than a film. But I really like Forrest Gump. I think it's a great film. Okay. Really good film.
No, I'll take that.
Yeah, is that a good one?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, good.
Okay, and this one is going to be a little bit controversial. So
Oh God.
Remember where you are. Be careful of your answer.
Okay.
Raw or the ball? Tough question.
Well. See,
Is this going to be a politician's answer?
No. So I respect. It's a really important issue. I respect all media outlets in the SU. But I like raw circles.
Raw circles are terribly good. Political idol.
Clement Attlee.
Fantastic. When it's not campaign week, where would you normally be found on campus?
Well, since
hard for you, this one.
Well, no, I'm an education officer, so I'll be downstairs in my office. Yeah.
You're
or
a student, then. Let's go back.
Okay. So when I was a student, I'd probably be in bed. If I was honestly, yeah.
You're not a library man, not a heavy.
Well, I was around the hours of 2 a.m. and like 10 a.m.
On deadline.
On deadline day, yeah. And people did always like spot me in like the paid common room just sleeping for a while because like I've been up all night trying to do an essay. I didn't say that. No.
If any of your degree supervisors see that, we won't mention that.
No, I worked really hard, and so should everyone else.
Brilliant. Liam Jackson, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jack.